guys, I'm Gracie Moody, and I'm here again to read chapters 19 and 20 of Treasure Island. It was originally written by Robert Louis Stevenson, but it's been adapted to a children's book. Chapter 19. I strike the Jolly Roger, and Israel Hand lends a hand. I crawled up the bow of the ship and tumbled headfirst into the deck. The ship was a wreck, with broken glass and mud everywhere. One pirate lay stiff as a board on his back, his arms stretched out from his sides. Israel Hands lay next to him. There was a pool of blood beneath them, and I felt sure that they had killed one another. Then Israel Hands moaned in pain. At first, I almost felt sorry for him, until I remembered what I'd heard in the apple barrel. "Well, hello, Mr. Hands," I taunted, standing over him. Gasping for breath, he asked for something to drink. I knew he was badly injured, so I went to the galley and grabbed water, biscuits, and cheese. Then I sat down next to him and slowly ate the food and drank some water, giving him none. Feeling bold, I said, "I've come aboard to take back this ship." He gave me a bitter look, but said nothing. The color was starting to return to his face. "And I can't have these colors," I said. I ran to the lines that held the flag and cut down the Jolly Roger. Israel watched me slyly. "I reckon, Captain Hawkins, you'll want to get ashore now." "Yes," I said. "Well now," he began, "who's going to sail this ship? You gives me food and drink and tie my wound up, and I'll tell you how to sail her." We struck a deal, and I went below and found a handkerchief. Israel used it to bind up the stab wound in his thigh, and after he'd eaten a little, he began to perk up. The breeze was on our side, and soon we had turned the corner of the rocky hill on the island's north side. Israel's eyes followed me about the deck, and he had an odd smile on his face. After a long silence, Israel said, "The tide's good enough by now. You just take my orders, and we'll sail slap in and be done with it." Hands guided me, saying, "Steady, steady, steady." At the last moment, I turned hard. The ship swung rapidly around, and we made for shore. With the excitement of all the steering, I had forgotten the danger of Israel Hands, and when I turned around, he was halfway toward me with a knife in his right hand. He threw himself forward, and I leapt sideways. As I did, I let go of the sail, and it struck him across the chest, which stopped him only briefly. For a few moments, we dodged each other. Then suddenly, the Hispaniola struck ground and leaned to one side. Water splashed onto the deck, and both of us fell and rolled. I was the first one back on my feet, but the deck was sloping sharply, and I could not run on it. I quickly climbed to the top of the mast and reloaded my pistol. Hands could see he was losing, so after a few minutes he began to climb up the mast, knife in his teeth, groaning in pain, his wounded leg heavy. When he was about a third of the way up, I held a pistol in each hand and pointed at him, saying, "Stop right there, Hands." He stopped instantly. Then he took the knife from his mouth and said, "Jim, I reckon we're messed up, you and me. I'd have taken you, if not for my wounded leg. But you and I need to come to an agreement." I was listening to him and smiling, knowing I had him cornered, when I saw him reach back over his shoulder. Then I heard a whizzing sound through the air and felt a sharp pain. Hands had thrown the knife at me, and I was pinned by the shoulder to the mast. In my surprise, both my pistols went off and fell out of my hands. They did not fall alone. The bullets hit Israel Hands, and he fell headfirst into the water below. Chapter 20. Pieces of 8. With my shoulder pinned to the mast, I hung on with both hands till my nails ached. I thought about pulling the knife out, but lost my nerve, shuddering violently. Oddly, that very shudder did the job. The knife, which had almost missed me altogether, held me by just a pinch of skin, and I tore clean away. I climbed back down the mast and went below deck to bandage my wound. I decided to set the ship as right as I could. Then I climbed overboard and waded ashore. The sun was starting to set, and the breeze whistled low in the dusk among the pines. There lay the ship, clear at last from pirates and ready for our own men to board her and get to the sea again. I wanted nothing more than to get back to the stockade. So I set out. With the help of the moonlight, I made good time. At last I came to the stockade. I got down on my hands and knees and crawled toward the corner of the house. I could hear my friends snoring loudly. He'd kept a bad watch. I got to the door and stood up. It was dark, so I walked slowly. My foot struck against the sleeper's leg. The sleeper awoke and sprang up. "Pieces of 8! Pieces of 8!" repeated the shrill voice of Silver's parrot, Captain Flint. "Who goes there?" cried the voice of Silver. "Bring a torch, Dick," he said to the young pirate. I was captured, and there was no escape. All right, I'll see you next week for the next few chapters. Sleep well.